What's up, y'all? Today I wanted to show you guys my US General Series 3 5-drawer tool cart and kind of the setup that I've done with it. I had a problem, and that was Harbor Freight had a sale on a bunch of tools. There was the recent parking lot sale, and I decided to go buy stuff that I've been needing for a while and that my normal toolkit doesn't have. So I ended up getting a bunch of metric ratchet wrenches and regular wrenches, impact sockets, regular chrome metric sockets, and then some adapters for my earthquake impact. So when I had it in here, I had them on these base trays that you get from Harbor Freight. And I did not like how it wasn't clean, and also with this wrench tray, they get stuck on these slots, and so you have to pick up the whole thing, then pull the wrench off, and then have to put it back, and it kind of got annoying over time. So I designed these trays. So at any point I can easily just grab out my wrench, put it back. I clearly have what millimeter size. And yeah, it's aesthetically pleasing when you look at the whole toolbox. This is my old metric one that I got on, and I just kind of built everything else in CAD. So what I have decided with this layout is I wanted a pocket for all my impacts and maybe some random stuff right here. And it'll basically come to about right here and cut off, and then I can add in more tools over on this section eventually. So it'll end up looking almost like this. And then I also left a slit here on the bottom for Sharpies, or I have a sensor in here. But stuff that I use on a regular basis, but I don't really have anywhere to put because it is the 5-drawer cart. So the reason why there's slits here is because I was trying to save filament. I am going to drop on, I believe, Maker World these models in case you have almost the same setup. I'll make sure to remove that name tag. But you can print them with full filament. I just chiseled some out so I didn't have to burn a whole roll for no reason. On the left side, I got some miscellaneous tools in the cart. And then I have my shop rags, gloves in the tray, some ratchets. On the bottom, I've got every tool that I'm probably never going to use and some miscellaneous stuff. And finally, we'll get to the drawers. In this one, I have all my pneumatic tools and my drill. So I have my paint sprayer, tire pressure gauge for filling up tires, and then my lubricant for all the air tools. In this drawer, it's nothing right now because I want to also make slits for when I get more tools for in here. I want to make sure I have custom layouts in here. If there's something back there. Second drawer is my junk drawer. It's got everything that I do use, but not as often as I usually do. Just miscellaneous bolts, electrical tape, and some of my keys for my sockets or for my lug nuts. In a previous video, I've showed this. These are my cobalt tools. And that's the main reason why I have extra sockets up here, because this kit doesn't fully fill everything out. Like, for example, it has a 15 millimeter socket, but there isn't a 15 millimeter tall. So in this kit, I have a 15 millimeter tall, and also to put less usage on my actual cobalt tools and more on the Pittsburgh kind of cheaper sets. I have my torque wrench. And then this was on the parking lot sale. I believe it's a 1/2 inch breaker bar. And I got it for $8 on the parking lot sale, which is nice. I have my one snap-on socket that we found on the inside of one of the engines after I bought it. And then on my bottom tray, I have all my specialty sockets, extensions, my ratchets, and then some more wrenches, which I'll probably not use them. There's not a lot of them. Once again, this kit only has 10 to 14, and then this kit, these have a lot more sockets, including with the ratchet wrenches. Underneath these cards, there's some pliers and some wire strippers. I have to tuck this in. And then on the other side, there's my locking pliers and then adjustable wrenches. And then I have my Milwaukee locking pliers that I bought a while ago. I like the 5-drawer cart because I'm able to move it around the garage if I need to go work on the Mustang. I really like this cart because it has the side slots for putting in screwdrivers, breaker bars, or even crowbars. And I keep all my Cobalt screwdrivers in here for quick access. They're pretty nice. I have some spare ones, like my electrical set, the old AutoZone, and then this Husky kit that I'm borrowing from my brother, which I'm going to give back to him. I just needed to build my tool setup. Also, at the parking lot sale, I got for $2 the U.S. General magnetic tray. And then they had a Harbor Freight hat, so why not? It was like $5. And then my magnet, just in case. On the right side, I have my tank for the impacts and spraying. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll kind of walk you through the process of how I did the CAD work. Okay, so we're currently in Fusion 360, and this is where I designed majority of my stuff. I went ahead and measured out the 5-drawer cart. So if I turn on one of my earlier sketches, you can see where the measurement is for the cart. So I just took a tape, measured it out in inches, and converted it to millimeters, and got all these dimensions. And then what I did from there, so like if we start at the beginning, so if you see when I hit play, this is how I designed it. So the basic idea is when you measure out for sockets, you're going to take your calipers and just go a little bit under what is the maximum to fit whatever drive. And that creates a loose fit. If you want tighter, you can tighten those tolerances. I prefer them loose just for the pure fact that it's easy to pull off. But so for a 1/2-inch drive, I got 12 millimeters by 12 millimeters. And that wasn't too bad. For the text, I did Arial black to kind of give it that bold look. And then I set the height to 5 millimeters. And that keeps it visible for the 3D printer, but it not too small that it destroys the, that it's less than your nozzle diameter. And it comes out super clean and looks good. So if we did like a 1/2 inch, there we go. And then the height, I did a 1.5 millimeter height for it. So we'll go ahead and look at the 3D aspect of it. For the ratchet wrenches and regular wrenches, I actually stair step the height downward to make sure that I could at least reach each tool without these mounts being in the way. And I did that for both sets and it came out great. And I also made sure that the height for the sockets weren't too tall where they would bottom out, but not too short where it won't hold the socket. Now in Fusion 360, it gets a little difficult designing parts because after you're done, you can split faces. If you went into, like, if I finish a sketch and I went into modify, you can split the body, but it's difficult choosing that body and then flipping it and then trying to align it. So what I ended up doing is when I design a part, I'll go ahead and sketch out the area that I want. So I'll select my surface. I'll remake sure that these are all turned off. I'll select my corner, dimension it out. So we'll do 60 by 60. And this creates this face. And what I do from there is I will offset it about 1 millimeter. I will then subtract that from here. And then what I'll do is I'll rename this part that I just made. And then I'll come to the side and I'll go ahead and extrude this out 1 millimeter. And what this basically does is this creates a perfect fit, but it's a separate part. And that's how I ended up with all these different pieces that I could send to the 3D printer. After I do that, I can right click on any of these pieces and save them as a mesh. And I'll save them as an STL. And once they're saved as an STL, we'll move to Creality Print. So I'm using the Creality K2 for most of my prints. I'll go ahead and go to my documents. Or actually, I believe they're in my downloads. I will grab my export, drag it over, and then in here you can see that the part's in. For multicolor, what I ended up doing is I go ahead and I set the base color. So for me, I have the Hyper PLA black that's from Creality. And then I'll go to this paint tool. And once I'm in this paint tool, I will select my color. I'll increase the pen size to max. I'm going to move my view. And then I'll do height range. So we'll increase it to max. And then from there, I will start painting all those layers. And then once I do that, that's how I get this multicolor look that I need for each plate. To end off this video, we'll end up at the K2. I love this printer. It's got the CFS, which holds 4 colors, and currently printing something out for my wife. But I'll go ahead and print it on this one, send it off to the toolbox, and yeah, that pretty much ends this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. If there's anything that you felt like I missed or rushed through, just let me know. I'm going to start doing a lot more 3D printing content because that's pretty much all I'm doing all day. And I'm eventually going to get these back up and running to do more stuff. But yeah, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys later.